Hey everybody, this is Ian Floyd with the Love and Sensibility Podcast. You know, when I want to get inspired to take action, this is exactly where I come to my girl, Ioana Garrett, on the Success Stalkers radio show.
You're listening to Success Stalkers Radio, episode 23 with Mireille Ryan. Welcome to Success Stalkers Radio. I am your host, Ioana Garrett. People all over the globe are rewriting the rules to success. They're making money and changing the world. Join me Monday through Friday as I interview today's top entrepreneurs, business leaders, and entertainers that will leave you inspired to take action and achieve success on purpose. Are you ready? Let's dive right in. Okay, Success Stalkers, let's get started. I am your host, Ioana Garrett, and this is another episode of Success Stalkers Radio. I am simply thrilled to introduce my guest today, Mireille Ryan. So, Mireille, are you ready to stalk some success today?
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Well, Mireille is the CEO of Health Guru Industries, a corporation that builds mind, body, and businesses for women. HGI does this through 3 business brands, through Fit Mind, Health Guru Bootcamp, and Mireille Building a Business You Love. Mireille was named 2010 Australian Exercise Professional of the Year by Fitness Australia. Her bootcamp business was also named as a finalist for 2011 Australian Personal Training Business of the Year. And Mireille was the winner of 2011 Queensland's Personal Training Business of the Year. She has appeared on radio. She's been featured in over 20 magazines around the world. This has made Mireille a sought-after industry leader and expert and speaker, and she travels all over speaking at events. So Mireille, I've given our listeners just a little overview. So take a minute and tell us about you personally, because we want to get to know you. Then give us an overview of your business path.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I started in the fitness industry about 15 years ago, and I started in the fitness industry because I had my son and realized that once you have a baby that you don't just automatically lose weight straight away when the baby comes out, and started to get fit and found I had a passion for fitness. And so that started my journey in the fitness industry. And I worked in the fitness industry for probably about 7 or 8 years, working for gyms and personal training studios, and decided that I wanted to start my own business. So I started a boot camp at my children's local school. So by that stage, my son was about 5 or 6. And I started a boot camp at my local school with about 5 or 6 mums. Now, within probably about 2 years by 2 years after that, we'd grown to about 10 boot camps on the Gold Coast, and absolutely loving what I was doing. And then sort of found that people wanted to start to ask me, you know, how I was doing what I was doing and the lessons that I was learning, and wanting me to basically help them to be able to grow their businesses and give them the thoughts and the things that I've learned, all the tips and the tricks. And so naturally led me into my own business coaching brand. And my third company, Fit Mind, we actually found there was a gap in the market, and found that there were a lot of women in my boot camps who, you know, if they turned up and they did the nutrition, that they got great results. But obviously if they didn't turn up and they self-sabotaged and emotional ate, that they never got the results that they were after. So we decided to put together a online hypnotherapy program with a good friend of mine who's Australia's #1 sports hypnotherapist, and he works with world champions. And we put this program together, Fit Mind, to be able to help people to be able to get them in the right place for success when it comes to weight loss. And it's now grown out into 2 other brands where we help people to be able to have success from a business standpoint, and also for students when they're studying for exams. So that's pretty much me. From there, I guess we started to grow, and I got my latest business mentor, Marty, and he's helped me turn my 3 different businesses into companies. And we've put a corporation over the top, and I've become CEO of that corporation. And that's enabling us to be able to grow around not just Australia, but around the world as well.
I love that. You are just a rock star.
I do my best.
And that's why I've actually been following you, because I've said, well, maybe I think she's helping anyone around the world, not just Australia. And I'm sorry, Success Nation, you hear thunder in the background. Yeah, we have some thunder going on right now.
I love it.
So in case you're wondering what that noise is,
I love it.
that's what happens when you're recording live, though.
That's it.
So anyway. Well, I really love what you're doing, Miss Ryan, and we're going to dive a little deeper into your journey in just a little bit. But before we do, we always like to start off here at Success Stalkers Radio with a success quote. So if you can, take it away.
Okay. For me, this is just something that rings true. And my favorite success quote is by Winston Churchill. And it basically, I guess, is the framework for everything that I do. And that quote is, success consists of going from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. And I think that pretty much sums up my business journey, because I basically say to people when they say, well, how have you achieved what you've achieved? And I say, well, basically, I just keep taking steps forward, and I fall down, I learn something, I pick myself up, and I keep going. And it's that passion and that drive that enables me, that even when times are really tough and things don't go my way, that it enables me to keep moving forward. And obviously, if you keep doing those things consistently, that success follows you.
Such a powerful quote. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
With us. Well, we're all about the story and the journey of our guest here at Success Stalkers Radio, Ms. Ryan. And, I know you've had quite an amazing journey. And, but I want to focus on first a failure or maybe a possible challenge that you maybe had, say, in your business life or your personal life, if you're willing to share that. Take us there for a moment. And we want to feel like we're right there with you. And then after that, share with us maybe a lesson that you learned from that failure.
Okay. I guess when I'm thinking about failure, I think, man, there were just so many. But you know what? I love, for me, failure is not a bad thing. To me, failure is about learning. And I know I saw a quote yesterday that what was it? It was, a smooth sea doesn't a great sailor make. And basically it's saying that it's
That's
the challenges that make you rise above. And it's like a refiner's fire. It's what helps you to become a better person. And if everything was easy, we would never grow and develop. So for me, failure is a good thing. And like I said, I've had plenty of them. But one of the ones that I was thinking about was actually something which on the surface people might think was a really good thing, but it actually was a real challenge for our business. And that was growing too fast. And what happened was I had my boot camp business, and people obviously loved what we were doing. They related to it, and we started to have demand to be able to grow quickly. And my problem is that I was wanting to act, I guess, like a big corporation. This is right back at the beginning, and open up locations everywhere. But what I didn't have in place is I didn't have the structure, and I didn't have the systems to be able to manage multiple locations and manage multiple trainers, lots of clients, all the behind the scenes. And found that it actually caused it caused me to be working nonstop to try and manage this.
Yes.
And found that a lot of things were falling through the cracks because we didn't have the right systems in place to enable us to be able to manage that growth. And some businesses, you think that growth is a great thing, but I see a lot of businesses around me actually implode because they don't have a strong foundation from which they build. And so one thing that I say to my coaching clients when I'm speaking with them is that one of the first things we need to do is to build that really strong, firm foundation from which they can grow a really strong, successful business. So for me, what I learned in that was that I grew up to 10 boot camps and then found that it just was not working. So I made the hard decision to close all but 4 of my boot camp locations. And I did that because I knew that I couldn't grow out again, or I couldn't grow further than my local area if I didn't have all those systems in place. So over the next, year or two, what I did is I like I said, I closed down those extra boot camps and then have been spending time just totally getting all my systems and structure in place. And then in the last 6 months, we've started growing around the country. So we now, I'm located on the Gold Coast, and we now have boot camps over in Perth, which to give you a US version, it'd be like having a location in New York and then having a location in Los Angeles. Like it's on the other side of the country. And we're
Wow. Oh
just,
my gosh.
yeah, we're just about to grow really large. So, yeah, it was a lesson that sometimes you can grow too fast and that you need to grow on a strong, firm foundation.
Yeah, I can see that's great to understand because I've seen myself a particular business. I won't name that business, but it's just what you said. It was like they just kind of came up really quick, and it was like all of a sudden there was this big boom, and then before you know it, they went out of business.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, I understand they were doing so great, but
Yeah.
I think that's probably what happened. Just what you just mentioned. So that's good to know. Good advice. So, what I want to do here, Mireille, is just move forward and transition to the other end of the spectrum, which is what we call that aha moment
Yeah.
or that light bulb moment. Because, just like you've had some lessons that you've learned from failures, you've also had some amazing ideas
Yeah.
that have helped you become successful. So, if you can share with us, one of those aha moments. And remember, this is a story. We want to be right there with you when you're telling that story. So,
Sure.
take it away.
Sure. I guess being a CEO of a corporation that has three separate companies and all of them in a growth phase and bringing new team members on board and looking at how we can impact and help as many people as possible, the thing that I found is that my to-do list is never ending. And no matter how many, no matter how many things I tick off, there's
Right.
always 10 things replacing that one thing. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure a lot of people can relate, especially when you're a solopreneur and you're doing it all by yourself and you don't have a team. I mean, I've only had a team in the last couple of years. I did it a lot of the time all by myself. So I've been there. And I found that I was really struggling with the whole idea that no matter how much work I put in, I just never seemed to get to the bottom of that list. And I did have a light bulb moment where I suddenly realized, well, one, I think I'm never going to get to the bottom of the list. I think no matter no matter how much work, no matter how many team members I have, I will never ever have nothing on my to-do list. But the thing that was my real light bulb moment, which to be honest has only been in the last few months, is I realized that every day I need to show gratitude for the things that I achieve on a daily basis. Because what I was doing is I was not recognizing the things that I had achieved, but only being stressed out about the things that I hadn't achieved. And found that once I started every day, when what I do is I have a little journal by my bed. And every night I write down three things that I feel I've achieved in my family. So, it could be spending quality time with my kids or my husband or other things to do with my family. But then I also write down three things that I've achieved in my business. And when I started doing this every night, what I realized is every day I was achieving significant things that were part of building my businesses. Things that when I looked at them in isolation, they were really great things. But because I was so busy looking at the things I hadn't done, I wasn't recognizing those things that I was achieving. And so for me,
Wow, that's
yeah, and for me
powerful.
being able to recognize that and every day give thanks and have gratitude, I found a lot of things changed in my attitude. I found, again, obviously I was grateful. I was happier because instead of being stressed out, I was actually celebrating the things I had achieved. And I guess knowing that that list will never end, it also meant that I could say at the end of the day, well, that's okay if I haven't achieved these things because I don't have a time frame necessarily that I have to work to. I'm working to my own, a lot of the time, self-imposed timelines. So if I don't get something finished today, it's okay if I do it tomorrow. So that was probably my biggest aha moment.
What you're saying here right now is just so vital and so key because so many entrepreneurs, we really don't take that time to just look at our day from that perspective and journal. And I like what you said about just having three things, that you can find that you're thankful for. And it's really good. I'm starting that myself
Oh, it feels good. I
today.
tell you, it's
That's
really
good.
worthwhile doing.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, right now, Mireille, if you don't mind, what I want to do is shift the focus for a minute because we want to shine the spotlight on you. And if you could just share with us, what is one of your proudest entrepreneurial moments?
I guess that's not too hard for me to pinpoint. And that's when I was named Australian Exercise Professional of the Year. And the reason why it was so important, I mean, I'm not somebody who really seeks after awards, but for me, the reason it was so important was for me, I'm a mum of three kids. And when I started my business, I started with babies and children on my knee. And to be able to be recognised by the fitness industry in Australia out of 25,000 fitness professionals And to know that as a mum that I was able to achieve all that I had achieved and done it from the office at home and with my kids all around me, and to be able to be home for my kids. And that's why one of the main reasons I started my businesses was so that my kids and I could be, we could be together and I could be with my husband. So I didn't have to go to a 9-to-5 job and be commuting. I mean, when I used to commute in Sydney, I commuted for an hour and a half each way. I mean, that's 3 hours a day I was on a train. And for me, being able to do a business, build a business from home, and I still work from my home office. I mean, I have a corporation and 3 businesses, and I still run them from my home office. And I do that intentionally because I want to be with my kids, and they're around me all the time as I do my work. And that's probably, being a mum and being able to do all this. That's what I'm most proud of.
Well, that's why I said I just think you're a rock star because, to do all what you're doing and to win an award like that and to be basically, out of 25,000 people, that says a lot about who you are and what you're doing. And that's why I see why you're impacting so many women around the world. So not just, where you are, because you impacted me. That's kind of how I found you, through Twitter. And I was just following like, wow, this lady is she's like Superwoman or something.
I just do my best. But the thing that I love is that with business now, it is a global business for everybody. And we can impact people all over the world. And, I've got clients all over the world. And that to me is just so special that I can help people, not just in my local geographical area, but I can help people everywhere. And I think that's fantastic.
I love it. 10 years from now, what do you see yourself?
10 years. Actually, I have an affirmation which I say to myself every day. And, I'm I guess from an Australian perspective, that I'm the #1 business coach for women in Australia. But obviously, like I said, with that also on a worldwide focus. But that I'm working from my home 4 days a week with my husband in the business. And we are also basically, I want to be able to help women all over the world to be able to create a business that they love and be able to help people all over the world with my charity. So that's really what I want to do.
Well, I'll tell you, I've never been to Australia. I've always wanted to come. If you're doing conferences there, eventually I would love to come to Australia and come to one of your events.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would just be the coolest.
I'm going to be having 4 events a year, and one of them is called Women Entrepreneurs Rock. And it's a conference for women where we can come together and not just business network and celebrate and learn, but we rock with it as well. So it's lots of fun.
Sounds like a party. I would love to be there.
Absolutely.
See, I'm from New Orleans, so, we like to party here.
Oh, you fit right in.
Oh, wow. I would love it. But really, I would definitely love to make it there someday soon.
Absolutely.
For sure. Mireille, we both know that, being an entrepreneur can be sometimes a roller coaster of emotions. You touched on a lot of that just a minute ago. And, you can be up today and within the next 24 hours, you're frustrated, ready to quit. So for our listeners, if you can, tell us, how do you keep focus each day? How do you keep that end result in mind?
I think it's because I know exactly where I'm headed. I know my 5-year business plan as to where I'm going, and having that written down and knowing exactly what my plans are, that is really key, because like you said, when you have those days where things are a little bit up and down and you have those days when things don't go so well, I know where I'm going. And so knowing where that journey is taking me, and I've also written down 100 things I want to do before I die. So, I want to make sure that I'm having lots of fun in life as well. So that's really, really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that 100 list. I need to do that too. I think I've gotten up to 50, but I need to think some more. I need to get up to 100.
It's great because you start ticking things off and you start realizing all the things you're achieving, and it's lots of fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, some I've already done. Yeah. I've already done some of them. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, because I know that you are a success stalker, Mireille, tell us some new projects. Do you have anything new or, that you're working on? I know you said you're looking to go more global. So any other things that you're excited about in your business that you can share with us?
If you talk to my husband, I have too many things that I'm doing. I mean, obviously, I've got my Women Entrepreneurs Rock conference in September, which I'm working towards. I'm relaunching my FitMind brand with those 3 business products, with the FitMind for weight loss, FitMind for business, and FitMind for students. We're also growing the bootcamp business around the country. So we're launching in all different states and just building that online community of women particularly that, can interact and work together to help motivate and lift each other as we grow through business. So, yeah, lots of things on the go.
Phenomenal. Well, we have reached my favorite part of the interview, Mireille, and that is what we call here the success round. And it's just a segment match of questions because we think that most entrepreneurs want to know the answers to these questions. So, we kind of, want to make sure that we give them some really, really good value from these questions. So if I can just ask you this, what was it that held you back from becoming an entrepreneur before you got started?
I think it was a lack of self-confidence in myself because, I wasn't raised around people who were entrepreneurial. And so I think it was just doubting my ability to be able to do it. So, at first that's probably what held me back a little bit. But then when I got a little bit of a taste where I was actually working under somebody else's framework and running a licensed business and saw how I could at that stage, I actually earned my whole week's wage in 1 hour by doing like a children's fitness business, and I had 90 children come all at once and worked with 3 other people to be able to look after those kids. And that was my first taste, and realized I really love being my own boss and having my own destiny.
Yes.
And that's what got me started.
Good deal. All right. Well, what is the best business advice you've ever received, and who gave it to you?
Well, my current business mentor, Marty, who, I'm a big believer that if you want to be at a particular place, that you surround yourself with people who are already where you want to be. And my business mentor, Marty, he's already created several $100 million businesses, and he's my mentor. And he told me something which has always, really rung true, that in order to be an expert or to be a success, you just need to be an inch above the crowd to be a leader amongst men or women, people, I guess.
That's good.
And so, you sometimes think, well, me, why will people listen to me? But really, you just need to have that little bit of an inch above everybody else. You just need to know something better than just about everybody else, just a little bit. And people will seek to find out what it is that you have. So always, when I doubt myself, I remember that quote.
You're absolutely right, because even when I started this podcast, I've never done anything like this before, but now that I've started, I don't know a whole lot about it, and I'm still learning. But I have a lot of people now asking me, how did I do it? Or, can I teach them? And I'm thinking, can I really teach them how to do this? But you're right. If you know just a little bit more than someone else, you can teach them. So yeah, definitely. Well, do you have any, say, internet resource or business tools that you use on a daily basis to build your business, Mireille, that you can share with our listeners?
Well, the one that I've just been diving into recently, which I'm really excited about, is Lead Pages, actually. Lead Pages is, is like a way to be able to capture people's details and share ebooks or lead magnets with people. And I'm just finding that the templates that they have in there are just so easy to use. So that's probably the tool that I'm using the most at the moment is Lead Pages. And I've actually just got my businesses onto Infusionsoft. So, I've been using that as well. So both of those combined together, I think, are really going to drive my 3 businesses.
Great. It's funny you mentioned those two because I'm looking at them both right now. So that's good. Kind of like a confirmation. So,
yeah.
So do you like one platform more than the other, or do you use them both together?
Well, basically they're working, so they work together because Lead Pages actually plugs into Infusionsoft. So, Infusionsoft can be a little bit confusing, and I'd recommend that you have people who can sort of help you with it because it's so encompassing, but it's so powerful. It's just amazing.
Okay. Good deal. Well, what book or books could you recommend to our listeners, Mireille?
Well, there's 2 books, and I've actually just started reading one of them again last night for probably about the 10th time. The traditional that you hear everybody say, but it's just such a good book, and that's Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
I love that.
Great book.
Yeah, I've just started reading it again last night. And the other book, which I really love, is by Jack Canfield, and it's called The Success Principles.
Yes.
And it really lists off so many great qualities and skills that you need to be able to be successful. So I definitely recommend. They're kind of my 2 Bibles, I guess. So yeah, really good.
Great Bible. And I actually have both of those. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I had a guest earlier today that just recommended The Success Principles. So yeah.
Oh,
that's great. That's great.
Well, great minds think alike.
Yes, we do. We do. All like-minded. So my last question, of our interview, Mireille, and I thank you so much for, putting up with my raspy voice right now.
I think it's been great.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Well, imagine that you woke up tomorrow morning in a brand new world, identical to Earth, but you knew no one. You still have the same experience and knowledge you currently have, today. Let's say your food is taken care of. your shelter's taken care of, but all you have is $500 and a laptop. What would you do in the next 7 days?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. I would really, if you only had 7 days, traditionally, things like social media and all those things take a bit of time to get traction. So I wouldn't head to that kind of place. What I would do is I would go out and I would talk to as many people as possible, and I would find out what are the things that are causing them worry and the things that keep them awake at night. And from doing that, would put together some solutions for them so that I can solve those issues that they're having. And I think that if you just went out and you talk to as many people as possible, not only will you be able to impact upon them, but as soon as you talk to one person, you actually get access to, if they're receptive to your message, you actually get access to their network as well.
It's true.
So if you can talk to certain people, especially people who would be, I guess, connectors with your community, you can very quickly have an influence through that whole area. So I would go out and talk to as many people as possible and look at what their issues are and then work towards solving those issues. And I know that if I did that I would be able to have a business.
Absolutely. Mireille, I think it's so fascinating that, with all the guests that have come on our show, that is probably that last question, everybody kind of answers a little differently, but they all say pretty much the same thing. They would go out and build some relationships and network, because without it, you can't really run a business.
That's exactly right. And even, you take away all the fancy things like social media. Social media allows that facilitation of networking online, which is really powerful. But if you take that away, you've still got your legs. And, in the past, we didn't have social media and people were able to still get out there. Like Napoleon Hill, when talking in Think and Grow Rich in the 1930s, they were still were able to create great networks, but they had to do it the traditional way, which is getting out, networking, talking to people.
Wow, I tell you, you're just a rock star, Mireille. Well, it has been just fabulous just hearing your journey today. And I just really want to thank you so much for taking time to, chat with me today, because, and the power of social media, thank goodness for Twitter, it's how we found each other.
Absolutely.
But I really, really appreciate you. And I appreciate you being, transparent with your journey with our listeners. And, before we go, I would like for us to end with this. If you can give our Success Stalkers listeners just a parting piece of advice and guidance, and then share the best way that they can find you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. Well, I always say follow your passions, because you're passionate about something. Even when the money initially is not there, you'll still keep moving forward towards your goals. But at the same time, also make sure that you have a strategy plan, that you're not just following your dreams but having no sort of rhyme or reason to it. Make sure you put a strategy in place, and then find out and seek people who are already where you want to be. And surround yourself with those people, because you'll find if you are around people who are already where you want to be, that you will naturally start to learn and grow and take in what they have, and that will help you fast track your success. So I'm a big believer of doing that. Now, for those people who'd love to connect with me, I'd love to connect with you as well, because all that I do is all about people. So I love meeting new people and I love connecting with people all over the world. And one of the easiest ways is just how you and I connected, Ioana, is that's through Twitter. Mm-hmm. So my Twitter handle is @Mireille Ryan, which is MireilleRyan. Otherwise, I would love to connect with you on my website, which is mireilleryan.com. And on there you can go and be able to download my 6 secrets to building a business that you love, which is a free audio, which shares a little bit more of my journey and the things that I've learned along the way.
Love it. Thank you so much. That is so powerful. I appreciate you giving that to our listeners. So we're definitely going to take advantage of that. I know they've gotten some great nuggets from you today through our talk, and they can also find the links to everything we've been chatting about as well at our website, which is successstalkersradio.com/Mireille Ryan. So they'll be able to see everything that we talked about on our show notes page as well.
Fabulous.
Good deal. So we appreciate you again. Thank you so much for your time today. And for everyone out there listening, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, keep stalking success. Well, that'll do it for another episode of Success Stalkers Radio. If you'd like to hear more from these inspiring entrepreneurs and entertainers, be sure to subscribe to the Success Stalkers Radio podcast on iTunes. And if you found value in this episode, give us a review, hopefully 5 stars. You may also visit us at successstalkers.com. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.